Thank you for joining us tonight for Forever Basics, and this is week 2. So we are into organizing your Forever account. Let's go ahead and take a look at the homework that we have for last week, week 1. You were to get your account set up. You were to add a profile picture, download the mobile app, back up and auto sync your mobile devices, and then begin uploading your photos and videos. And we went through all of these things. So if you weren't on for week 1, you can always go back and watch the recording from week 1 in preparation for what we're going to be talking about tonight. And that is organizing our Forever account. Okay, so now that you have all of these things in your Forever account, some people might practice scenario number 1, which is they're just happy to have everything safe in their account. They're happy to have everything preserved and backed up, and that's good enough. And they want to use some tools in their Forever account to be able to find things, but they may not really want to spend a lot of time organizing, and that's okay. Forever gives you plenty of options, and that's what we're going to start tonight. So week 2, again, we're talking about organizing your Forever account. And first, we're going to talk about just the simple library tools, the tools that are available to you in the library to find and organize things in your library. So let's go ahead and take a look at the example Forever account. So here we are in the library, which is the first page in your Forever account. Again, this is where all of the photos, videos, and documents are going to go when you upload them. Last week, we talked about uploading with this green upload button. So as you can see, I've got lots of things living in my library. Now, again, I mentioned scenario number 1, someone who perhaps just wants to keep their things in their Forever account and doesn't necessarily want to spend time organizing it. That's fine, because you can find many things just by going to using some of the tools in your library. So the first tool we're going to be talking about is the search tool. So as you can see here, if you put any word, name, anything in the search bar here, it is going to search by tag, file name, or description to find your photo. So I'm going to give an example. I am going to just type in Hilton Head. So that's a place that we vacation. So if Hilton Head is in a tag, if it's in a name, an album, the description, that photo is going to come up. So here you can see a variety of photos that are coming up because they are being searched with the word Hilton Head. Okay, so that is one of the great tools in the library of your Forever account. The next one we're going to look at is order by. So order by over here is on the left-hand side under the green upload button. And if you click the drop-down, you can see that you can order your entire library by date taken, newest first, which is how I have it set now. So these photos that you see were just taken last weekend, and we're going to talk about those in just a little bit. But let's say I wanted to look at things by upload date. Then I could organize the entire Forever library in my account by upload date. And sometimes that's important if you're looking for something that you just uploaded, but it may not be the date of the last thing in your library. Now, if I want to look at my library from date taken oldest first, I can do that too. So let's take a look. Okay, so as you can see, the oldest first in my library goes back to 1890. So of course, we weren't around then to upload those photos in, but as you can see, a lot of these things in this part of my account are old, whether they've been digitized by Forever. Well, they all have been digitized by Forever, whether they're printed photos or slides. These were all slides from my childhood. A lot of these things have been preserved by Forever, and I've gone in and added and changed the date that those photos were taken. So let's go ahead and click on this one from 1890, and you can see this very special photo. It's actually an entire frame of a couple photos that Forever did such a great job of scanning. But this now lives in my Forever account. It's permanent. And this is, as you can see here on the right-hand side, this is all the information that goes along with this image, with this photo. So let's take a look here at some of this information, because this is some very important things to do with organizing and telling the stories behind your photos and the memories that go along with them. So with every photo in your Forever account and every video, you're able to create a file name. So you can see this file name is Great Grandparents' Wedding. And you're able to add a description, tell the story that's behind that photo. That description can be as long as you'd like. As you can see here, you can read a little bit about the description of this photo. And then you can see the date taken on this photo and the date that it was uploaded. So I clearly went in and edited the date taken of this photo. And I'll show you how to do that in a little bit. But one way is just to click Edit Info right here, and that will allow you to edit this information. We'll come back to that in just a little bit. Okay, in addition, we're going to talk in a little while about organizing in your Forever account by using albums and tags. And you can see down here where the tags would show up and where the albums would show up should this image live in a tag or in an album. And this image does not. There are no tags associated and there's no albums associated with this photo. And I could change that by adding to tags or adding to album right here. But again, I don't want to get ahead of myself. I just want to keep this very simple. So we're going to just keep focusing right now on the tools that are in the library. Okay, so I just want to flip through a couple of these. Let's go to this one. I want you to be able to see how the file name changes and the description changes. Of course, the date taken changes. You may feel like it's a lot of time to take to add the date taken or add the description. And we're going to talk in a little bit about bulk organizing tools. So for example, if you sent in a stack of photos to Forever Media Conversion, you know that these were taken all back in, let's say, 1925. You could bulk organize them and just put that 1925 date on all of those photos. Same with the file name and the description. Okay, so those are just some examples of some of the old photos and how this information stays with each of those photos. Okay, now the next thing we're going to look at is filter by. So let's just say that I want to go into my account and I want to filter and find photos, let's say from 2009. So I can scroll back as far as I want to go, but I'm going to say, show me all the pictures of my account from 2009. And I have 3 photos in my account from that year. Now, keep in mind, this is the demonstration account for Forever Basics. So if it was in my account, we'd have a lot more photos than just 3. Okay, let's filter again. Let's do 2017. So we're going to do last year, and then we're going to do by month. You can really break it down by month as well. So let's see what happened in June 2017. All right, so you can see we had a dance recital in June 2017. Okay, so that's how you use the filter by tools, and that's really fantastic. In my own personal account, whenever I need to go back and find some photos, I use this filter by tool all the time. I think just recently I was thinking back to when my daughter graduated from 5th grade, and I needed a photo of her and her best friend. I remember taking the pictures for a gift for a birthday present last weekend. And this is exactly what I did. I went to filter by, and I went to the year she graduated from 5th grade, and I went to May. Remember, that was the time period, and there was the picture. So that's a really easy and quick way for you to go in and find photos, even if you haven't spent time to organize them into albums and tags. Okay, now the next thing we want to do is I'm going to talk about the show tool. But first, I just want you to recognize you need to clear the filter by tool. So you can do that by saying no filter, and then you're cleared back to the date taken oldest first. So I could take that back to the way it was originally, and we are back to the library with all of our images from my weekend. Okay, so the show tool. This is a great tool. So let's say that you want to go in your Forever account, and we're going to start down the bottom. I want to see only the documents that I have in my account. So if I click Show Only Documents, all the documents are going to come up, all those PDFs. So if it were my personal account, PDF-wise, I have my tax returns in there. I have some bank statements in there. I have a lot of personal information in there that I'm able to pull up very quickly right in my Forever account, right on my mobile app whenever I need it. Those personal things are marked private, so they're not able to be seen by anyone except for me. But this is just an easy way to bring them forth to be able to show all the documents in the account. Let's say I want to see all the projects. Now, here are all the projects I've created in this account. Again, there's just 2 in here, a photo book and a canvas, because it's a demo account. And of course, I could also just go to print projects to see those too, but we are just looking from the library view. How about videos? These are all the videos that are in this Forever account. And then I can go back to just show only photos. Okay, so scenario number 2 would be the person that not only wants to back up all of their images in Forever, keep everything safe and permanent in their Forever account, but they also want to do a good deal of getting things in order and organizing the things, creating albums and tags, and we're going to talk about that in a moment. But this show tool is really good if you're trying to organize your account and you're saying, you know what, I just want to see the photos that are not living in an album. So you can say not in an album and all those photos will come out. And that tells you, oh, I need to do some work. I need to put these in an album. Now, the other thing that's pretty neat is you can also use the filter by tools at the same time. So if I was trying to go through and organize, say, last year, 2017, and I had already done a great deal of organizing and putting in albums, you can see that now I can say, well, which photos did not go in an album? And I would see here, oh, these photos did not go in an album. I need to either put them in an album, or perhaps I don't want these photos. Maybe I'm going to delete them out of my Forever account. So that's a good way to kind of gauge what you've organized and what you've not organized and make a decision on what you want to do with it. The other thing you can do is album photos that are not in a tag. Again, this is going for 2017. All these photos are not in the tag. And again, the nice thing about Forever is you determine how you want to organize. You don't have to use the tags. You don't have to have things tagged. But if you do, these are just some tools that you can use to help you. And then the other one is neither tagged nor in an album. So these would tell you these are the things that I may need to go in and tag or to put in an album. Okay, so now I've shown you the tools that you can use in the library to basically find your photos when you are looking in your library. Keep in mind, your photos will always live in the library. Even if they're in multiple albums, you can always go back and find them in the library. If you delete a photo from an album, that does not delete it from your Forever account unless you have said, yes, I want to delete this and put it in the delete bin. Therefore, your photo would always be found in the library. So I'm just going to reiterate that. All of your photos can always be found in the library, no matter where they are as far as which albums they're in or what tags they're tagged with. Okay, so the next thing we're going to talk about is organizing your Forever account by using albums and tags. Forever has kept it very simple and very easy to organize with these 2 great organizational features. We're going to talk about the difference between albums and tags now. So let me go to my albums page. You can see these pages live next door to each other. So here's the albums page, and you can see that I have albums that I have grouped together to basically tell stories or bring photos together in a group. So let's take a look at an example. So I'm going to show you Shelley's 48th birthday party. This is my birthday party. And you can see I basically have grouped photos together in one album. And we did this with a previous Forever Basics where I showed you all the photos that we had taken that day. There were many more than you see here. It showed you the process of deleting some, tagging some, determining which photos were the best photos to tell the story of the event. And then those photos, which you see here, all live together in one album. And then that album, I can easily share that album. As you can see here, I can simply click the share button here. That would create a link for me to email or to copy and paste to send someone. And they would get to see this beautiful album that I've created that has a title, a description, and then it has all of these photos in here telling the story. Now, the other thing that is neat about albums are the way that we share. Now, you can share an album like I just showed you, and you can also share a tag. However, albums are the way that we invite people into our stories. So I'm going to show you an example. Let's say I'm going to go to my friends and family, and I'm going to look at an account that belongs to one of my friends. So I'm actually going to go to my own personal account, and we're going to look at my account. Here it is. So this is my account. So remember, right now we're in the demo account, but we're going to my account. And in my account, you can see I have a lot of stuff in here, but you can see my albums. So I'm telling the stories through albums, and I can go into these albums to look at stories. So I'm going to show you this album right up here, the first day of school, and you can see I grouped all of those photos as the first day of school. in one album. I'm going to also show you another story, and this is Destin, and I grouped our vacation photos all together in one album. And my friends and family can come and see that album because I have marked that album, let's see if I have, as friends and family. So that's the other neat thing about albums. You get to determine the sharing setting that you have for each of the albums. So you can mark your albums to be shared with friends and family, and that way when a friend comes in, they're going to be able to see that album, just like I'm coming in as a friend. And I can see all the friends and family albums. I can also see the public album. So this Destin album is one that I created and I put out for the public to see. So anybody who would come and search for me would be able to see my Destin 2018 vacation album. Of course, I only picked a small amount of photos to put into that album, and the album that I chose for my friends and family was a little bit larger. Well, now I lost it. Okay, well, you get the idea. There it is, 230 files in that album. I can also create albums that are marked private, and those albums would not be available to be seen by my friends and family. But as we're discussing albums and tags, I just want to remind you that albums are created so your friends can come and look and see them, and you can share them, and your friends cannot come and see your tag, okay? All right, so now let's go back to the album page in this account, and I'm going to show you how to create an album. All right, so the green button that says new album is the create an album button. So if I click on that album, as you can see here, I'm able to create an album. So I can name that album, and I'm going to call this album Forever Basics. And then I'm going to determine the privacy setting. I can, as we talked a moment ago, make it private just for me to see, friends and family, so that my friends and family can visit and see, or public, open to anyone who might want to search and see. So I'm going to mark it friends and family, and I'm going to say in the description, having a great time with my basics friends. That is you. Okay, now I can also date the album if I want to. I don't have to, but I can. So let's just go ahead and put the date on here, and then create the album. Okay, so here is our new album. And now, once I have an album, I'm able to either upload straight to the album, okay, but I am thinking that you guys have already uploaded, so we're not gonna do that tonight, or I can add from the library. So when I go to the library, I'm able to select photos to bring into my basics album. So, no, I'm on my phone. No. Okay, so let's just say I'm going to pick a few photos I'm going to put in my basics album. How about these, this little grouping here for football? Okay, so I've selected them all, and now I'm going to simply click the green button that's called Add to Forever Basics. So if I add that to Forever Basics, all of these photos come right into this album. Now, the other thing that's neat is I can choose one of these photos. I'll choose this fun one from Forever Live to set as the album cover. And that's always fun to pick your favorite photo, your best photo to set as the album cover, because then it looks beautiful on that front page with all the album covers. All right. So that is basically how you create an album in your Forever account. And here is the album that we just created. Okay, now I'm going to give you that example again in just a moment, but I want to show you one other thing first before we move on to tags. So again, in albums, one other way that you can stay organized is to create nested albums. So instead of just creating many albums, you can organize your albums by subject or person or event or vacation or however you determine you want to do that. Let's take a look at dance recital. So I know every year there's going to be a dance recital, and there's been one since 2003, I think. So as you can see here, I have one album for dance recital, and then underneath that album, I have 5 nested albums. So those nested albums are 5 different years of recitals that we have had. So you can do that with vacations, with your kids, with any subject that you choose. Maybe it's holidays or like I said, vacations, many different things. So If I click on dance recitals, I just want you to see under dance recitals, I have all of these additional albums. They're all in order of year. And then within the album, I have photos. Okay? All right. So now I want to go to tags. Let's take a look at tags. Tags are basically descriptors and identifiers for you to be able to find your photos easily later, and also to learn some information about your photos. So if I wanted to search tags, let me just put in my son's name, Sam. And as you can see, all the tags that come up for Sam that have the name Sam in it are going to come up. So it's very easy to search for tags. Now, once you start in your Forever account, you're probably going to end up with a lot of tags. I have a lot of tags. But again, this is the demonstration account. All right, let's clear this. All right, let's say that I want to go and see photos of when we were in Hilton Head. So if I click on the Hilton Head photo book, you can see all the pictures that come up from when we were in Hilton Head. Again, if I want to click on my birthday, my 48th birthday, all of those photos are there. So the same photos happen to be in the album for my birthday and in the tag. And the reason, again, is the album is created to share that story and to tell that story. And the tag is, you know, later down the road, I could say, oh, I want to go see Shelley's birthdays. And I type in the search bar birthdays, and then all the birthdays that I've got tagged would come up, and I could click on this one to see that tag. In addition to that, let me just click on one of these photos here. You can see that it is an identifier. So when you are in what we call the light box, again, we're able to see the file name and the description and all the information here, but you can also see that I've got a tag here, again, Shelley's 48th birthday, just describing this image. And also you can see what album this photo lives in. And then, as I mentioned before, you can have multiple tags and you can have this photo live in multiple albums. Also, we're going to talk in just a second about bulk organizing, but I want you to see the file name and the description for this photo. And as I move through the photos, it stays the same. So I continue to have the same file name and the same description because I did that by using the bulk organizing tool, which is what we're going to move on and talk about next. All right. So let me make sure that that is what we're going to talk about next. It is. Okay. We're on track and we're doing great. So now we're going to talk about the bulk organizing tool. Okay. Let's go back to the library. Here we are. Again, I mentioned that this past weekend I had a really fun outing with my best friend celebrating her birthday. She's going to be a special birthday this year. And we went into the city of Pittsburgh and we did this great tour. We could go inside lots of the different old buildings. So we took lots of pictures. I'm not necessarily going to want to keep all the pictures, as you can see, but in this example, I brought pictures in from my camera that I took with me. So I uploaded photos from my camera card right into my Forever account. And I brought in all the photos from my mobile device because I was taking them on my mobile device as well. So all of those have come in. And I also got photos from my best friend that she was taking on her phone as well. So we've got all the photos here together in one place. The first thing I'm going to do when I am taking care of these photos is I'm going to select all of them. So I click the first one and then I scroll to the bottom. And then I hold down the shift key and I click the last one. I've now selected all of the images from our fun Saturday. I am going to go over to the top right and click Bulk Organizer. When I click Bulk Organizer, you can see that I am able to create an album here. Okay, so I'm going to create an album and I'm going to call it Steph's birthday. Okay, and I don't want to add to that album. I'm creating my own album, but you can see that one came up in case I wanted to add it to that album. Okay, and now I get to add tags. So if I want to add one tag or two tags or three tags to all of these photos, I can do that. So just by example, I'm going to put this here. I'm sure she's going to love the fact that I spoke her age here. I didn't speak it, I just typed it. Okay, now I get to edit the name. So every one of these photos will have the same name. Instead of having the IMG475, we're going to put we're just going to call it, again, Steph's birthday. All right, and then I can put the description that's going to go on all the photos. I'm just going to do something really quick. We had a great time celebrating in the city, and I'll just put an exclamation point. Of course, I would write more than that if I was really thinking through all of that. And I could optionally take the date taken right here, so I could change that. So if these images were scanned by Forever Media Conversion, this is where you'd want to come in and edit those dates. But I'm just going to leave the date stay with whatever is in the date of that digital image. Okay, so now we're saving the changes, and now all of these photos should be living in an album, as you can see on the right-hand side, called Steph's Birthday, and in a tag called Steph's 50th Birthday. In addition, you can see the file name is there and the description. So very quickly, I have done that with all of these photos. Okay, now let's go back for 1 minute to our PowerPoint here. The thing we're talking about now is organizing by bulk and the bulk organizing tool. But the next thing I want to talk about is what are we going to do about all of those photos that we have in the library? Because if you look through here, I don't want to keep all of these photos, right? I mean, I took lots and lots of photos every time I was taking a photo, and I'm sure that everyone can understand that too. You know, we want to take a photo, but we usually take 3 or 4 of the same thing. And we don't necessarily want to keep all of those in our Forever account. And it really doesn't make for a good story. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. Because you'd have to search through so many things to really see the story. I want to narrow these photos down to have the right amount of photos to be able to tell a great story and have a really great memory. Not see, 70 photos where half of them are duplicates of some, of the exact same thing. So I'm going to teach you tonight something that we teach at Forever. And this is called the SOS Sorting System. Okay? So this is what I want you to think about when you are pairing through those photos in the library. And this is a sorting system where you determine which photos that you love, which photos you like, which photos tell a great story and have a good memory attached to them, and which photos you want to just plain delete. Okay, now I'm going to show you what to do for each of those thoughts. So first of all, the photos that you love are going to be the best photos. And our advice for you on those is to tag them. Tag those photos so they're easy to find. You can tag them with the word love if you want, or you can tag them with a name. So for example, whenever I get a good family photo of me and my family, I always tag that photo so I can go back and find it later. So I have a tag that I call Fabulous 5. I call it the Fab 5 because there's 5 of us. So if you click on the Fab 5 tag in my Forever account, it'll come up with all these great family photos that we've had over time. That's because I love the family photos. If I find a photo of my daughter that I love, I'm going to tag her in it so that I can go back and have that photo later. Also, when my daughter gets ready to graduate from high school, I'm going to have a great system in place because I just have to click on her tag and her best photos of her whole life are going to be right underneath that tag. I'm not going to have to go searching for them because I've tagged it because I loved it. So that's the advice. If you have a photo that you love, tag it. Okay, next one is like. The photos that are good photos that you like, that you want to keep them safe in your library, and you can organize them into an album. So we just did that. We took all those photos, we organized them into an album. So if I like the photos, they're staying in that album. If I don't like them, we'll talk about what's going to happen to those in just a minute. Okay, the next one is a story. Okay, you can have a photo that's not really a good photo, not a becoming photo, not a beautiful photo, but if it tells a great story, you don't want to delete it because that's an important one. That's a really important one. And you want to be able to write in the description the funny story or the memory that's attached to it. And you can do that in Forever. So those photos that have a great story, our recommendation is to record that story in the description and be sure you share that with others. Now, let's talk about the last one. This is delete. And I actually do the delete first. So I'm going to show you that in just a moment. But these are the bad photos. These are the unneeded photos. These are the ones that could be very close to duplicates. You took 5 photos of the exact same thing. Find the best one and keep it, and then delete the other 4. So deleting is very important. It makes you feel good about getting organized. I don't necessarily need 70 photos to remember our Saturday. I would love to pare it down to maybe 20, 25 to have a good album of memories from our time together. And the other thing I didn't say is, you know, I think about our time together. After I make that album, I'm going to create a photo book, and I'm going to give that to her as a gift. And I hope she's not on tonight. She's going to know now. She could be on listening tonight. But anyways, the photos that I love and the photos that I like, those are the ones that I want to keep in that album so I can print them in a photo book. And we're going to talk about that next week on week 3 when Roxanne Buckles is going to be on live from the Forever Print Shop. Okay, so let me just continue here. I'm going to give you just a little snapshot here of this SOS sorting system, and then we're going to put it into practice and do it. So again, the photos that you love, the great photos, the awesome ones, you love them, you want to tag them. The photos that you like, they're good. They tell the story, they share the memory. You want to keep those. Put them in an album in your Forever account so that you can enjoy that story later, that whole memory later. The story photo, again, this is a photo that's not really a great photo, but it has a hilarious story or a funny memory or a good story. And then delete any of those photos that you just don't need to keep. Maybe it's food photos or shoe photos. I have to tell you, funny, I kind of like to keep some of my food photos. In fact, I think I'll keep some for this album that we're making. But don't be afraid to delete. Delete, delete, delete. That's a fine thing to do too, to keep yourself organized. Okay, so I'm going to show you this process. This is the SOS process. I've already bulk organized, so I've got these in an album. I have them tagged, and now I'm going to go to the album, and here it is, and I'm going to start working. So let's go ahead and edit. Oopsie, I didn't mean to do that. We are going to order by, so I want to make sure that this is in correct order. I want to order by the date that these photos were taken, and I'm going to do oldest first. So that means it's going to start out from when we started our journey and then go to when we ended our journey. I could do custom order if I want, and I may do that later. So I'm going to start at the beginning, and you can see I've got 3 pictures here of Dollar Bank. Now, I'm just going to show you how cool this is. Dollar Bank was built in 1870. Isn't that crazy? In Pittsburgh. Look at that. It is the most beautiful thing ever. Okay, but I don't necessarily need all of those photos of Dollar Bank. So I'm actually going to get rid of these 2, okay? So I click on the 2 that I want to get rid of, and then I click remove. So this is going to remove it from the album, but then I get to decide, do I want to put in the delete bin? Do I want to delete it out of my Forever account or just remove it from the album? I'm going to delete it out of the Forever account. Okay, so now that's deleted. So now I've got that one. I've got the lion out front. Got Stephanie standing in another place that we went. These pictures are great. I want to keep those. Now here we are. This is really funny. We're standing outside trying to get ready to go, and the parking attendant is going to take a picture of us. And he took all these pictures of us. So it's kind of funny. We're trying to go. Then we're laughing because he takes this picture. He takes from like down on the ground looking up, which is never a good view. But we definitely want to keep one of these pictures. So lots of laughing going on. We were just taking off. So I'm going to delete, again, a good amount of these. I'll keep the laughing one and the one looking up. Remove, go to the delete bin. Okay, so you get the idea. I won't spend a lot of time on this here, but just showing you that example. I would go through here and again say, I've got, you know, lots of pictures of this exact same thing. Let's delete a few. As you can see, I've like this photo, this picture that was hanging on the wall, but I don't need 3 pictures, just 1. So I'll delete those, remove, delete, delete. Okay. Now, I'm going to show you one that was really funny. These are really, really bad photos, but we were laughing so hard and we had a good memory. So I'm definitely going to keep one of these photos because these are the photos that's a great story, but not necessarily a great photo. So I'll definitely keep, oh, let me go back to that one. Let's see, which one will I keep? This one. So I'll keep this one because it was really funny, and I would definitely edit and add a new story here and say how we stopped in to the Forever home office for an adult beverage break. And we had a good time, and that was really funny. So that's one of those stories that we definitely want to keep. But I probably would delete all of these other silly ones. So again, remove and delete. Okay, so I think you get the idea. Here's our little tour guide. I don't need 5 pictures of him, but I definitely wanted to keep one so I could remember that story and just continue moving along until I come up with a good group of photos that I want to have for the story to be told. Oh, I remember this photo. I felt like this was the best photo, so I probably would select that and set it as the album cover. And then have that cute little photo as our album cover of this album. The other thing I would definitely want to do is put a description here. So I can open this up and edit the album. I can change the name of the album. I can determine the privacy setting if I want to open it to friends and family. And then I probably would put a nice long description here describing what we did in Pittsburgh that day. And I can write as long of a description that I want. Pittsburgh for the day. Okay. Let's see. So that is organizing in your Forever account. And then the final thing that I would do after I finish creating this album is I would share it. So I would click Share Album. And then I would copy that link and I could give it to someone, or I could click here and email it, which is what I would probably do, email it to my friend Stephanie, so she could see all the fun things that we did on that trip. And one other thing I will just mention, if I emailed Stephanie that album and I said to her, you know what, would you add a few photos to this album? I know you took photos and I didn't get them from you. Would you add some photos to this album so I have them in my Forever account? If I wanted her to add to them, I could just click yes right here. And this would allow others to upload to this album with this link. And therefore, then her pictures could come in this album too.
And this way, I will keep all of the photos together from our special day in one album in my Forever account. I'll share it with Stephanie, and she'll keep all of those photos as well in her Forever account. Tonight, we have talked about using the library tools to go in and find your photos within your library. We've talked about organizing your Forever account with albums and tags. And we've talked about doing this by bulk by using our bulk organizing tools. And we've also talked about the great value of sharing and how easy it is within your Forever account. Now I just want to review with you how easy it is to find help if you need help as you're working through the processes that we've talked tonight. The first line of help is your ambassador. The person who invited you to this call is your Forever ambassador. So be sure to reach out to your ambassador first. Then the next place is to go to the help desk. I'll show you how to get there. You might want to search for questions that you may have or watch some of the previous Forever Basics webinar recordings. You always can email support or call our fabulous support team at 888-FOREVER, and we're always here to help you each step of the way as well. In order to find your ambassador, simply go to your Forever account and go to the top of the screen to Find My Ambassador. Your ambassador is the person that invited you to this call. That will give you quick and easy access to your ambassador. And if you don't have an ambassador but you'd like to have one, you can also go to Find My Ambassador to find one as well. If you're looking for additional help, go to the question mark, top right-hand side of the Forever account. This is our help desk. You can always reach out to support here with the phone numbers or simply send an email. Or you can scroll down and look through some of the great Help Center topics. I'm going to recommend Getting Started. Under Getting Started, you're going to see our new series of Forever Basics. So if you need to watch the recording from last week, here it is, Getting Started with your Forever account. And this week's recording will live right underneath. Also, to the right-hand side, you can see all of the recorded videos that we have produced with Forever Basics over the last couple of months. So if you have a specific question, simply go here and watch the recording of these videos. Now let's take a look at the schedule we have going on for the month of October. Again, this is going to repeat in November and December, so feel free to invite your friends. Next week, you will be with Roxanne Buckles. She will be live in the print studio to talk about using Forever Print to create some wonderful projects so that you can enjoy your memories and see them and share them. She'll talk about creating photo books, making canvases, and also making cards. Have you made your Christmas card yet? Next week's a great time to do that because We have 40% off cards this month of October. You could already get that checked off your list. So be sure to join Roxanne next Thursday night for creating a printed project to share. And then at the end of October, I'll be back with you for converting your outdated media with Forever. We talked about keeping a box of those outdated media items like your VCR tapes, your Hi8 tapes, your slides and printed photos. I'm going to talk to you on October 25th about what to do with all of those things. Thanks for joining us tonight, everyone.